So I did the ancestry DNA test because I want to know how Irish I really was. And it's fun if you've done it. They send you a little kit. It's got a test tube in it, and you're supposed to spit into the test tube. I jerked off in it because I wanted the exact, precise... I get the results back. It turns out I'm 99% Irish, which is way too Irish. A little bit is charming. 99% feels kind of racist. It feels like, what's with nobody in the history of this family having sex with any other type of person? Especially when you're Irish. Like, which of the traits we're trying to protect here? Which of our characteristics is so magic we don't want to water it down? Is it the pasty white skin you can see veins through? Orange pubic hair? Freckles that turn to cancer by 30? Rage, alcoholism. Somebody fuck a black guy. Give us a shot.
Greg Fitzsimmons is on the Adam Carolla Show.
Fitz Dog stand-up special. You know me. Very funny. It's available on YouTube as we speak. Live dates coming up as well. Going to be at Zany's, Rosemont, Illinois. That'll be September 12th through the 14th. And then I think it's called Montserrat Winery, and that'll be in Temecula coming up. That'll be September 21st. Go to gregfitzsimmons.com for all live shows. Yes, Joe.
I hate to get you worked up about this for the second time today, but I know you wanted Greg to weigh in. Police have just released footage from Sunday's traffic stop involving Miami Dolphins receiver Tyreek Hill, and in the body-worn camera video, you can see cops yank the Dolphin star out of his sports car and throw him onto the ground following a dispute over his window.
I'm not really that whipped up about Tyreek or about the cop. I'm whipped up about everyone taking Tyreek's side. You have to comply with cops, otherwise they sort of get let loose. And after that, you get to a point of no return. But we'll show the clip to Fitzdog. Bodycam. My suspicion was correct, by the way. These guys are like Cuban cops, and they don't watch American football, so they don't know who this guy is.
This guy's breaking out of that uniform.
I know. So Tyreek doesn't like him knocking on his window. But he rolled his window up, and the cop wants it down. So he's telling him to roll his window down. I think he cracks it and talks through it or something.
Hey, keep your window down. Keep your window down, I'm gonna get you out of the car. As a matter of fact, get out of the car. Give me your ass, Get out of the car. Give me your ass, we'll break that freaking window. Get out of the car. Get out of the car right now.
These guys are Cuban, it sounds like.
Oh, it's a...
Get out. Get out. What part of blood don't you understand? Hey, Drew.
Thank God they're not white, is all I got to say.
I'm getting arrested, Drew.
I gotta say, that guy taking him down like that, I don't know if you fire him or you make him a strong safety for the Dolphins.
You understand? You understand? Not what you want.
Tyreek goes over the middle. He's had worse than this.
Yeah.
Too late.
All right, so the cops are dickheads. My only argument is just comply. Just cop pulls you over. It's just yes sir, no sir. Don't roll your window up. They're gonna do this.
Stop crying.
I'm not defending the cops. I'm just defending compliance. Unfortunately, you just have to. And what I was saying, Fitzdog, to Joe earlier when I was doing an Adam and Drew show, which is like airport security. I've traveled through 1 million airports. I'm not a terrorist. I've never done anything, but you run into that thing where it's like, take your shoes off and take your belt off, and you just have to eat shit.
Yeah.
You can't go, give me a fucking break. I'm a 6-year-old man. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I pay my taxes. I'm not affiliated with Al-Qaeda. If you just go, I'm not going through the metal detector. I don't feel like I need to do it. I should have to do it. Eventually, you're going to get tackled.
Yeah.
Sadly, but you are.
Right.
And so I'm saying there is parts of society where you just have to kind of eat shit. Mm-hmm. Like being in a relationship with a woman. You know what I mean? You just have to kind of go.
Wow. Is that how you see it?
Well, I'm just saying you got to kind of pick you got to pick and choose your moments of when to stand up and when just
and when
to kind of
put your window up.
just put the window down and yes sir and no
Yeah,
sir
right.
and all that. And that's what I'm saying. Cops overreacted, but cops look for a reason to overreact sometimes.
Florida
then
cops.
they got this guy. This is his teammate that they also put in handcuffs because he was trying to call Tyreek's agent.
Right, but he was told 4 times, get in your car, and he wouldn't do it.
Let me have your license. I'm not playing.
No, before this, if you go back 30 seconds, they said, get in your car.
Yeah.
Get in your car. Like, how many times can a cop tell you to do something?
Just get in the car.
Right out the side, on the side of the
Hey, get in the car. You're parked in the middle of the street.
Not really the middle of the street.
Right. And it's like the cops are also parked in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
All right, move. You gotta move right now. Let me have your license. You're gonna have to get to. I'm coming.
You can't ask somebody for their license unless they're breaking a law.
Let me have your license.
No, Florida cops are assholes. I've had
Yeah.
run-ins. They are
Yeah.
jacked up and they're looking for trouble.
Yeah, I had a cop. I got into trouble at an airport once, and it was just like they closed the door, and it was the last flight out of Vegas. I was going to have to spend the night in Vegas, and it was like 40 minutes before maybe 45 minutes before the flight, and McCarran was empty, and it was like a Friday night at like 10 o'clock, and it was the last flight out, and I didn't check in an hour before the flight. I was trying to check in 45 minutes before the flight, and they're like, we check in an hour. Ugh. And I'm like, I'm standing here. There's nobody in the airport. I can get to the plane in 14 minutes. I bought a ticket. I'm checking in, and I'm going to the gate. And they're like, nah, it's too late. And I'm like, it's not too late because we got 45 minutes and I'll be there half hour before the flight leaves. Yeah, but you needed to check in an hour before. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. This is the last flight out of Vegas. We don't have hotel rooms. We have to go rent a car at midnight and drive back to LA. Just check me in. And supervisor, I'm like yelling at the supervisor. And next thing you know, they call the cops.
No.
And the same guy, big meathead. This guy's redhead, but meathead. Meathead dude shows up. I don't know why they ride mountain bikes through the airport.
Yeah.
I don't know why you need a mountain bike inside an airport. You have a people mover.
Yeah.
They should get on the people mover with the mountain bike and just spin the tire, sit in one place. So the guy comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, what's going on here?" And I go, "Listen, I'm just trying to get. You raising your voice or whatever? Like, come with me." Now I'm getting detained. Mm-hmm. Airports have a secret room with no windows in it, with a big wooden table with a big eye hook in it that sticks out. That's the chain you to the table thing. And then the guy, I go, okay. So I go get in the secret elevator, and the guy goes, face the wall, face the corner, put your face to the corner. And I'm like
you're a child, stand in the corner.
So I start going to the corner in the back left of the empty elevator to put my face in the corner. And he goes, wrong corner, go to the right. And I was like, this guy wants me to turn around and go, what the fuck is going? And then that's when the mace comes out, right? Like there's no difference in the corner. He wants me to turn around and go, what the fuck?
Right.
And I went, but here's my point. I went to the other corner because I know he's looking and I don't want to fucking get hit with a baton. And then later on, I sat in his office, and he's like, and then he leaves. That's the other power move. They just leave you sitting there, and then the guy comes back, and he goes, so what do you do for a living? And I go, oh, I had comedy, a celebrated author. Comes through my head, podcast king. A bunch of stuff comedy goes through my head. But I know if I say comedy, he's go, oh, not so funny. You're getting arrested there. I knew he'd go, funny, man. I knew there'd be something. So he just goes, what do you do for a living? And I go, and he goes, you don't know what you do for a living? And I was like, I went through 5 jobs that audience warm up back. I just said carpenter because people leave you alone.
Well, Jesus was
it's
a carpenter,
noble.
yeah.
Yes, and we have 15-second clip of your interaction in Vegas. Oh, we do? Somebody took a vid of that?
But I haven't done anything. 45 minutes before a flight. 45 minutes before a flight.
You guys make. Yeah, thanks for the help. And don't make us the bad guys. You guys. You're the bad guy. That's when he arrested me. I talked back to him.
Yeah, you had some real anger behind that though. That wasn't.
We were
dialogue.
literally checked out of our hotel. We're gonna have to go find a hotel.
Worst.
Yeah.
And they dig in. There is no
there's no going back.
That's it. Once they make a decision, they all fall in line.
Yeah.
And you're the asshole. They just love the power.
The guy who pulled Tyreek out of the car was more aggressive than the guy who was telling him to get out of the car.
Yeah.
It was his buddy did the heavy lifting. All right, anyway, we hate these people, but still comply.
Comply.
You just have to comply.
Okay.
You can't roll your window up when they're talking.
Can't roll your eyes either.
Can't roll your eyes or your R's. Well, that guy rolled his R's. And I had when I heard like Dade County, Miami guy, I was like, I bet these guys are soccer fans. They're not. People are like, why didn't they know it was Tyreek Hill? And I'm like, they don't. That's not their vibe. That's not their sport.
Yeah.
They like plantains and soccer.
What's his name?
Pele.
Not Pele. Who's the guy that just bought the team of Miami?
Whatever. Oh, God.
Messi.
Yeah. All right. What else we got?
More aggressive enforcement, folks. The wife of a California inmate wins a $5.6 million settlement after being strip searched while going to visit her husband in prison. After traveling 4 hours to a correctional facility in California, Cristina Cardenas was subject to a strip search by prison officials, drug and pregnancy tests, X-ray and CT scans at a hospital, and another strip search by a male doctor who sexually violated her, a lawsuit said. She said, my motivation in pursuing this lawsuit was to ensure that others do not have to endure the same egregious offenses that I experienced.
So she's going to donate all the money.
And
Oh, no. They always miss that part.
Yeah.
No one goes, so this is really your only motivation? Good. So the March of Dimes should be getting a $5.6 million check pretty soon,
She wants
right?
to raise awareness.
Yeah.
She wants her bank to raise their awareness that she's got
That's
some money in it now.
Well, in terms of the sexual violation, women have a secret compartment that's built into all of them, right? Mm-hmm. And they could get a fair amount of drugs or
They're
what
kangaroos.
they're kangaroos. So they can get a fair amount of something in them. So somebody's going to have to look at something, right?
Well, neither an X-ray nor a CT scan found any evidence of contraband. So then when they strip searched her, this is why she's winning a lawsuit.
But
because
why were they so hell-bent on she's got something in her?
One of the prison
look at her.
officials
She's
asked
cute.
her.
Yeah, she's hot as hell.
You're right.
Yeah.
So the policy is for the prison sort of doctor, gyno, searcher guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Couldn't dogs do this work if you really think about it?
A dog could do the work, and
A dog couldn't smell pot that was packed in coffee grounds and welded into the fender of a F-150 at the border. That's what dogs could do. So you don't think they could smell cocaine up a snatch? I bet they could.
I wonder if when you bring the drugs in, because you got 2 pouches as a woman, and I wonder if
Wait, you be talking about back pouch?
talking about the back pouch.
Yeah.
Do you think that the cocaine that gets brought in through the vaginal pouch is more valuable on the inside than the
Yeah.
back pouch? Because you're sniffing it.
Yeah, you're snorting it and right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I think it has a higher street value
Sure.
in the joint.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to.
I mean, maybe even higher than if she had brought it in her hand.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
right. Yeah, like a lot of these, quasi washed up starlets can sell their used underpants online, and no one wants to buy new underpants from these people. They want soiled underpants.
Underpants with a story.
Yes, it's all about the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, provenance. I think they call it in the
Do they?
auction world. They call it provenance. You know what I mean? So up the ass, but in the cooch, that's provenance.
Yeah, right.
That's fish scale. That's
Yeah.
what they say.
Yeah. So you're right. Probably has a higher value in the joint. But so she got inappropriately checked by everybody.
Yep, and one of the prison officials allegedly asked her, "Why do you visit, Christina? You don't have to visit. It's a choice, and this is a part of visiting." She's saying that they were trying to deter her from even visiting, and if she was going to come and visit her,
I gotta say, it would
prisoner
slow my
husband.
roll if there was a thorough rectal search every time. Let's just say I went to the Cinnabon at the airport or something. They just went like, you can have the Cinnabon, but we have to do a thorough rectal search. I'd be like, I'll probably just keep heading down to Starbucks or something. I'll go somewhere else.
I haven't gotten a checkup in 3 years. Every time he puts his finger on my butt, I swear to God, I get sad for like 3 days. I don't even know what it is. Do you think I have trauma?
It could be. I had this funny. I was thinking about it when I was watching your special and you were talking about that. I was thinking about. I got the finger once from a woman on a checkup. I had 2 finger stories. One is the first finger I ever got. I got the okay, you know how this goes, and I was like, not really. The behymen is still in place. Like it's not been punctured. But I know you think I know, but I don't know. But here we go. The woman had me bend over the table, and on the wall was a sort of the old character. It was W.C. Fields, like pencil drawing with the gin blossom and the cigarette and everything. And and I go, why is W.C. Fields like right here? And she's like, it puts people in a good mood. And I'm like, I find it neither here nor there. Yeah. Like as the stranger's shoving her finger up my ass, I wouldn't be like, well, if the Marx Brothers were represented, I would enjoy this. Right. No, I was just, and she was like, she was explaining that it put people in a good mood to look at these pictures. She had them all around the office. And what I was saying as well is I go, listen, in the picture, W.C. Fields is holding a lit cigarette and a martini glass. You just lectured me for 20 minutes about drinking and smoking. Do you really think this is a appropriate message to put on your wall? And she goes, I never thought of that. I said, you should think about that.
Did you ever hear that joke? I'm going to butcher it, but it goes something like this. The doctor puts his finger in the guy's ass, and then he goes, stay calm, don't get an erection. And the guy goes, I don't have an erection. He goes, I'm talking to myself.
All right, what else you got over there?
The sales of dog strollers outpace baby strollers in the country with the world's lowest birth rate. Countries across the globe are facing population declines, as health journal The Lancet predicted. 97% of them will eventually have fertility rates too low to sustain their size.
Oh, you know what I saw yesterday, which I'd like to remedy, but maybe it's a thing, but maybe we can fix this. Homeless people used to use shopping carts. Their whole belongings were in their shopping carts. I see more and more homeless people with baby strollers. I saw a homeless woman, and I was walking down PCH, and she had the stroller. And first, your impulse is when you see the stroller, like from behind, you're like, there's a kid in there, not a 40, and a do-rag. But it was like she was pushing a pile of her clothes in a baby stroller, and the tableau's very sad. Sort of like there's so many kids' toys, stupid electric cars, the battery's gone and stuff. I see piles of kid shit and homeless shit, and it makes me that much more depressed.
Yeah.
We got to get them the shopping carts. The shopping cart's innocuous. It's like it could be used for groceries or clothing or whatever it is you're doing, but it doesn't drag me in a very depressing direction. The baby
They've gotten really
stroller.
good at protecting the shopping carts these days.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah. So I used to live in Venice, and I lived right behind a Ralph's. And I was having a Super Bowl party, so I had like 5 30-packs and whatever. And I'm like 40 yards from the Ralph's. So I was like, I'm just going to push this home, unload it, and I'll bring it back, you know? And I got to the edge of the parking lot, and it was magnetically stopping
No.
it.
It locked. It did the
Taking-
brake.
It could, You could not push it past that magnet.
Whoa,
point.
that's a rough route. So I live right around the corner
Yeah,
from
yeah.
it. So did you live in that apartment
Lincoln
complex?
Place,
Yeah,
yeah,
Lincoln
yeah.
Place. Yeah.
If you live near a rough place, that's kind of how you can tell
Yeah.
when there's an issue with stealing shopping carts. Like bad, tough gas stations need your area code to
Yeah.
use your credit card. They don't. Not in Carmel though. They're fine.
Right.
They trust Whitey over there pretty good. Yeah. So the kid. The dog in the cart or the dog in the stroller is a very sad tableau. It's South Korea, right?
Yeah, South Korea is one of the countries where the rate of baby strollers the sales rate is outpacing for dogs than for babies. Now, it
Dog
doesn't mean
strollers are selling more.
Yeah,
Well,
they're not
because-
selling more, but they're outpacing them. So, soon the percentage of people who are buying them, I don't think they're actually selling more dogs.
Oh, I thought they sold more units.
No,
I think what's happening is it's Korea, so that's Uber Eats. Those
They're driving.
Yeah.
They're driving to the barbecue spit.
Yeah.
That's a good
There's
call.
been a turning of the tables. The website conducted a study in 2021 when baby strollers were 67% of the sales and puppy strollers were only 33% of the sales. And now it's tipping. So we're not actually selling more baby strollers or puppy strollers yet, but we're on our way
But also,
in that direction.
all right, dogs should not be I live in a neighborhood where half the dogs have shoes. They put little booties on these dogs and they walk them around. And here's the problem with the dog and the stroller and the booties and the sweaters and everything. And those crazy women are like, he thinks he's a person. Look at him. Look at how he thinks he's a person. He thinks he's, yes, you do. Yes, you do take your friend. It's okay. It satiates them. Like they don't really need families or kids. They have their
Fur
dog.
babies.
Yes.
Fur babies.
I can't stand it when people do that. You go like, hey, you have kids? And I'll be like, yeah, I got 2 kids, whatever, you have kids. Well, we have dogs. Well, if your dog got run over by a car, would you be upset as I would be?
Right.
If he ran away, would you keep looking after 3 months?
That was so funny because back to Bean of Kevin and Bean. Bean is famously never had kids and never been married and just never had kids. And I went to go visit his house when he was living out in Seattle after he moved away from here. And I was hanging out in his house and I hadn't seen Bean in a number of years. I'd probably been 8, 9, 10 years. I was visiting him and I was like in his living room and he's like, heard the door open and he goes, oh, here comes Donna. That's his wife. Here comes Donna with the babies. And I was like, oh, babies. And I got up and 2 potbelly pigs came around the corner and I'm like, oh, okay.
Have you-
George Clooney?
Have either of you guys seen Chimp Crazy on HBO?
No.
It's the new documentary about chimp lovers from the same people who did Tiger King. And everybody in this has children and has chimps and has their chimp above their children. Like they take far better care of all the children in it are like, my mom didn't care about me. She only cared about
Don't chimps attack occasionally?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's in the documentary. You know, the woman in 2009, I believe, who got her face ripped off in Connecticut.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That woman in the woman who had that chimp is in the documentary. She gets another chimp.
Oh,
after that.
really?
That woman got less than a year later bought another chimp after it mauled her friend in front of her.
Well, turn the other cheek.
I know. I'll bet you. I know this chick because when she got her next chimp after having her face torn off by the other chimp, then her friend, everyone said to her, why? Like, you don't need, what are you doing getting a second chimp? And I guarantee she drew this analogy. She's like, well, let's say you drove a car and you got into a bad car accident. Would you never drive another car? It's like, yeah, but you don't ride the chimp to work. Like you don't pick people up at the airport on a chimp.
Right.
You don't need a chimp. But you draw probably a bad analogy that had to do with.
Yeah, if the chimp attacks you, an airbag is not going to deploy
That's right.
to save you.
There's no crumple zone in your face for the chimp attacking. Yeah, they would look. People kids eventually crack wise, talk back, don't do stuff you want them to do, yell, "You're not the boss of me," and all that kind of stuff. And the pets never do. They don't, you don't go to their high school graduation and you don't pay for their wedding, but there's never any downside in terms of like, COVID hit. I got my daughter screaming at me to take my shoes off before I come into the house, and next thing you know, I want a chimp.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen, I think we did a story a couple weeks ago about people spending more on their pet health care than their own health care.
Oh, I have 1,000% spent more on my Labrador Phil than my parents spent on me, and I will combine my sister, and I'm going to put in food, clothing, education. I'm not limiting it to medical. Everything.
Yeah.
All in. Well, because there wasn't, 0 to 18, there wasn't any medical, couple of trips to the emergency room. But, oh, yeah. I mean, my dog ate a double-decker box of C's candy that, God, devoured the whole thing. Still in the wrapping paper.
Yeah.
Still a brick.
A Labrador.
Wow.
Yeah, just full size. I'm talking full, 9 pounds of C's candy.
Doesn't chocolate kill dogs sometimes?
They
say
say
that.
fucking broth kills dogs.
Yeah.
Like everything online is everything kills dogs.
Right.
Ate half pound of gummies infused with pot. It was
wow.
oh yeah.
Yeah, my dog ate edibles one time, and she was under the bed, and I saw chocolate on the floor. I saw vomit on the floor, and so I start cleaning it up, and then I smell the pot, and I go, "What the fuck?" And then I realized it was my son had left it in his bag. He was in high school, and he had his bag.
Mine was in the bag.
Yeah.
Got into the bag.
And she
ate it all.
She was just, her head was going back and forth. She had drool coming down. We had to take her to the hospital, and they put charcoal in her stomach and gave her an IV drip, and it cost $900.
Yeah.
And I said to my son, "You're not going to pay for it, but you're going to walk the dogs every night for the rest of your life." And he did until those dogs died, which
Same
was
thing.
12
Wow.
years later. He walked them every single night.
Wow. Phil had the same thing. We didn't go to the vet. We actually just went out and saw the band Fish.
You did?
Actually, yeah, with the dog. Till he came down. They covered Dark Side of the Moon. It's a pretty good show.
Yeah. They started howling during the moon part.
Yeah. All right. Sorry. What else? Wait,
Speaking of terrible bands, Chester Bennington's son Jamie calls out Linkin Park's Mike Shinoda for betraying fans and replacing his late father with Emily Armstrong. Jamie Bennington is the son of the Linkin Park singer Chester Bennington, and he's very angry that they have replaced his father with a woman, Emily Armstrong, in the new version of Linkin Park.
I'm a little confused. First off, these kids, I'd like to just sit everyone down and go, "Your dad was what? He did what?" Because let me introduce you to Jim Carolla. He didn't need to be replaced. He wasn't doing anything worthy of being replaced. You understand? You had something, and now you're very upset. But your dad was in a huge band before he took his own life. By the way, Chester Bennington.
He?
Yeah.
Why, did he listen to their own music?
He was listening to demo tape. But what I'm saying to the son is the band not supposed to make any money or carry on or do anything?
He put up an Instagram post directed at Mike Shinoda. "Hey, Mike, people aren't having a difficult time wrapping their head around the prospect of Linkin Park reinventing itself. They're having a hard time wrapping their head around how you hired your friend of many years, Emily Armstrong, to replace my dad, knowing Emily's history in the church and her history as an ally to Danny Masterson." The church, of course, being Scientology.
Wow.
She replied, several years ago, I was asked to support someone I considered a friend at a court appearance and went to one early hearing as an observer. Soon after, I realized I shouldn't have. I always try to see the good in people, and I misjudged him. So that was just one of the things he came at her and Mike over in the replacement. He also accused Shinoda of quietly erasing my father's life and legacy in real time during International Suicide Prevention Month.
Oh, really? God, everyone gets a month these days. Well, he killed himself. I mean, has it been 20 years?
I don't know if it's been 20 years, but it's been, I bet you it's
15 years?
Yeah.
I don't know. Someone's got to look it up. But I mean,
2017. So.
Oh, it's not been as long as as long as I thought. But it's been 7 years.
Yeah.
All right. So
it's been 15 years since anybody cared about Linkin Park.
Right, but the band should be able to continue and tour and do whatever they do. And then you got a female. I mean, I like the idea of a female replacement because she's not going to get compared to his dad because she's bringing a different vibe to it. But I don't know. Is the son? I'm voting against the son.
I think they should be.
Case.
I think they should be Mary Todd Linkin Park now.
Yeah, did you ever see the documentary about Menudo where they change out the members as they get older? They just send them out to pasture and they bring in another young Mexican guy?
Yeah.
Menudo's just like an ongoing.
It's just a name.
It's a never-ending replacement of Mexican.
Well, there's a black version of that, which is like the Coasters.
Yeah.
Like Charlie Brown was a hit in 1956, and you have a 28-year-old guy in the Coasters.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
Yeah, the Four Tops are like that.
Yeah,
too.
they
it's more like the 11 Tops.
I didn't even know the Coasters. You know, an old white guy came up with the Coasters.
Still going strong.
He's like, what should we name this group of black guys? The thing we put our glasses on to make sure the fucking table doesn't get wet.
Yeah, the Coasters. Yeah, all right.
It's always at an Indian casino. I'll go do a show at an Indian casino, and then you see that. What's the guy's? Smokey Robinson is still touring.
But at least he's still touring.
Right.
I don't know how many of the miracles are by cause of miracle are still alive, but the Coasters have just been replaced to Four Tops. And probably the Temptations, like all the black groups from back in the day. I wonder if we have what she sounds like. I guess we should find if she sounds good. This guy and Danny Masterson, that was a weird and crazy story. Like, try not to defend too many rapists, but I don't know, wasn't like one of it his girlfriend of X amount of years or something? He's just in prison for the rest of his life?
Yeah, there was a lot of accusations for him. There were a lot of people accused him of raping them, basically. And then everybody was just like, I don't think so. Everybody kind of jumped to his defense and was like, he seems like a good guy.
Well, here's really the problem that no one really wants to get into. There's the definition of rape that we all had in our head from like watching movies of the week when we were in junior high. And then there's a new version of rape, which is she was intoxicated. And in the state of California, if you cannot have sex with someone who's intoxicated because that would fall under. Or yes, they were boyfriend and girlfriend and they were sleeping in the same bed, but she said no. There's a version of rape now that is still rape, but it doesn't comport with the ones we thought about when we were kids, that version of rape. So I never know who gets what version of what. You know what I mean? Like
Bill Cosby's free.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm saying. The Cos is in Brentwood playing pinball right now in his game room. Oh, we have the Linkin Park video. And the guy from that 70s show is never going to see daylight again. Okay.
I keep on lying too. I keep on lying too. Already pulling me in. Already under my skin. And I know exactly how this ends. I let you cut me open just to watch me bleed. Gave up who I am for who you wanted me to be. Don't know why I'm hoping for what
Sounds reasonable.
She's awesome. I love her.
It's not worse.
She was friends with Danny Masterson. Is that and then the other guy didn't do enough during Suicide Prevention Month?
Yeah.
I don't know, these are spurious charges to me. That sound like a lot.
Well, the guy, the kid from the son of the guy who's the lead singer of Sublime is now the lead singer of Sublime. This feels like Chester's son was like eyeing.
Oh,
that's what it feels like.
He's
to
a
me.
legacy.
He's like it's gonna be Linkin Park.
Oh, he's like Prince Andrew, or Charles, or whoever's thought he should be in line for the throne, but didn't get. Oh, he was because the Sublime guys.
Because there was Sublime with
he's Lachlan Murdoch.
Yeah.
As a fan of Sublime and Sublime with Rome and Sublime with this new guy, the Sun, it's not nowhere near as good as the old Sublime.
Really?
It's nowhere near as good as the original Sublime, or
his son, Bradley's son, is trying to do his own thing with the song. Same songs, just his own little, but it's not.
You know who's good is Ringo Starr's son plays for the Who. Starkey,
really?
Something Starkey, and he's fucking great.
Sublime had that song "Date Rape." Do you know that song?
It's about Danny Masterson.
It weaves a very intricate tale.
It does.
Do you know that one?
Yeah,
now he's getting raped by a large inmate, not a medium size. He follows the guy's trajectory till he gets all the way through the penal system and gets raped by a large inmate.
Yeah, that's why they call it the penal system.
That's right. All right, let's do one more. If we have one.
New report sounds alarm on China's role in destroying U.S. families with fentanyl. A new report from the United States government finally is shining a light. The report noted massive numbers of death linked to the drug, which can be fatal in small doses and is estimated to have killed 75,000 Americans in 2023. Officials have frequently said that the illicit fentanyl is created in Mexico using Chinese precursors and is then smuggled across the border by drug cartels. It is often laced in other drugs so that users do not know they are ingesting fentanyl.
Yeah, society's kind of weird because I've talked to plenty of guys. Ed Calderon's a border expert guy. He used to be a cop in Tijuana. He'd come on this show. And he used to be like, well, there's Chinese labs, and the Chinese labs are set up in Mexico because the Mexicans can't do the lab work, so the Chinese do the lab work, but the Mexicans then bring it across the border, and it's like, it'd be nice if somebody could sort of intervene in this process with the Chinese in Mexico and the lab, and then they're set up as a lab, and they know where it is. You know, I mean, everyone knows the game. And China. I think China and Russia are basically just going, look. We don't want to have to deal with a hot war with the United States. Mm-hmm. Like it's almost like you going, I don't think I could beat that guy in the octagon, but I could give him syphilis and then wait. And then I'll come in and fuck his wife. And I think there's an element of like, they go, look, Russia will just interfere with a bunch of shit, and they'll essentially most of the shit they interfere with is race related. Like, well, we're basically going to start everyone's going to be high on fentanyl, and we're going to have a race war, and we'll be so fucking weak and depleted and fighting amongst ourselves and so high that they can just kind of slide in at that point. We don't have to outman them with tanks and missiles.
Right. It's like a siege. Like what they used to do in in medieval times, where you surround the town,
right?
And you don't attack them; you just starve them out.
Yeah, just wait.
Yeah,
wait till they start fighting amongst themselves and ODing on fentanyl, and then we'll come in.
And we're just taking it hook, line, and sinker. We're just buying all of it.
Is Mexico? Mexico's like you got to deal with the cartels. Here's the question. Would it be good for Mexico if we said we are going to label the cartels a terrorist group and then take them out? Because once they're labeled a terrorist group, you take them out, and then people are like, well, they're not a terrorist group. And you go, well, they do check a few terrorist group boxes. Like right now, they're just human trafficking and smuggling drugs and fucking up everything. And like, at what point do we just say to Mexico, look, this is going to be the best thing that ever happened to you. It's going to take a minute, but it will be good. Like, we're just going to fucking come in and just take the cartels out.
You get into like a deeper question, right? Of like, is there part of the people in our government that want a certain part of the population addicted to drugs that are coming across the border from Mexico. You know, like we had the crack epidemic in the 80s, and it was like we weren't just ignoring it. We were financially supporting it. So then, you know,
I think there's people who are profiting, but I think by and large we'd like it to go. But I don't know. China's not our friend.
No.
Mexico is basically your friend who'll do anything for $100. So he may be your friend, but he'll also do anything for $100.
Yeah, this story says, you know, unbeknownst to most Americans, the Chinese Communist Party is actively funding, supporting, and pushing America's most deadly drug threat in history. So Mexico's just like, oh, you're going to help fund our drug cartel?
Right. And
what do you need us to do? Put a little of this in? Sure.
And we're arguing over pronouns.
Yeah.
And they're laughing their fucking ass off.
60 Minutes did a piece. They tried to track the fentanyl in China. So they went over there. First of all, it's very difficult to get into China as a reporter. Impossible. They basically saddle you with observers the whole time. And they were just tracking down the addresses that the fentanyl was coming from. And it was all these like strip mall P.O. boxes. There was such a fucking web of deceit. And the government was not lifting a finger to help them find it.
Yeah, the government is sort of like Mr. Walters. Mr. Walters was our PE coach at Walter Reed Junior High, and my buddy Ray was like 2 sizes bigger than all the other kids. And Mr. Walters realized that he'd get fired if he put his hands on any of these kids that he hated. But he would tell Ray, go ahead and beat that little snot nose over there. It's giving me a hard time. And then he'd just watch Ray do his bidding, you know? So, and then maybe give him a free slushie, because I think they had a slushie in the office. That's all it took. Yeah. So he knew he couldn't do it, but he certainly could get my buddy Ray to do it, and he would. And that's how Mr. Walters got his satisfaction.